Some days you catch fish. Other days you just feed the fish and lie about it later. Today we're talking about the quotes that perfectly capture both. So here's my list of the top 12 fishing quotes of all time. Let me know which quote you like best, and if I missed any of your favorites, let me know that too. So let's start with number 12, and this comes directly from the Bible, John 21:3. Peter said to them, "I'm going fishing." They said to him, "We will also come with you." They went out and got into the boat. And that night, they caught nothing. So, this is very important for two reasons. One, if anyone quarrels with you going fishing, it says so right in the Bible. Forget the context, the rest of it, no argument. It says right in the Bible to go fishing, so I think you're good. And then if people complain about you not catching them, the disciples didn't catch them. If they can't catch them, hey, can anybody blame you for not catching them? So number 11 comes from famous golfer Lee Trevino. He said, "Catch and release is like golf. You don't keep the ball, you just enjoy the game." If you're like me, you have fishing buddies, and heck, even my dad, they always question why I go fishing all day, spend all this money for a boat and lures, and all this stuff, spend all my time doing it, and never come home with any fish. Well, old Lee's got the perfect comebacker right there. Now, number 10 comes from Stephen Wright, and he said, "There's a fine line between fishing and just standing on the shore like an idiot." And honest, there's been plenty of times when I've been picking out a backlash, getting my boat hung up in the shallows, or my lure caught in a tree. I'm sure someone looking at me from a distance, they probably think more idiot than fisherman anyway. So moving on to number 9, Sparse Gray Hackle once wrote, "Soon after I embraced the sport of angling, I became convinced that I should never be able to enjoy it if I had to rely on the cooperation of the fish." And that pretty much sums up fishing in general. If you're only going to catch them, if you don't enjoy the day, the scenery and stuff, you're probably going to be disappointed quite a few times. Now, diving in a little bit more and a little more philosophically, John Buchanan brings in number 8. "The charm of fishing is that it is the pursuit of what is elusive but attainable, a perpetual series of occasions for hope." So I think this perfectly captures the optimism of fishing. You have to be an optimist if you're going to fish very long because, like we said, there's plenty of slow days. The fact that it is a bit of a struggle is part of the reason that we love it. If we caught them every time we went out there, it'd get a little boring over time. And I think this also really captures why we love going and buying new lures. It's that reason for optimism. Hey, I haven't caught them very good all week, but man, this new lure and this new color or this crazy new thingamabob, maybe I'll catch them. So if I just spend $200 here at Bass Pro, maybe I'll catch them. Now, number 7 is an all-time classic for me. It comes from Corey Ford, and it was actually a book title. It goes, "You can always tell a fisherman, but you can't tell him much." Maybe it's the look that we have. Maybe it's the smell. I don't know, but you can definitely spot another angler a mile away. And you had to think that we're all kind of hard-headed, kind of set in our ways. Tough to get your fishing buddy to, if he always loves the topwater, get him to fish a different lure. Yeah, we're kind of hard-headed. Now, number 6 is burned into my memory. This comes from the great, great, great writer Mark Twain, and he once wrote, "There is no use in walking 5 miles to fish when you can depend on being just as unsuccessful near home." I tell you what, this is classic pessimism. It's written in humor, but it's kind of in the fisherman's back of every fisherman's mind. The reason this is burned into my memory, when I used to guide, there was wallpaper in the bathroom at the marina where I met my customers every day, and it had fishing quotes, and this one was always there. And it perfectly sums up what do we do in fishing. Launch at the marina, and then don't fish right there. You take off and go 5-10 miles away, burn a whole bunch of gas, and half the time you don't catch them. And like Mark Twain wrote, I could have caught nothing right here at the marina and saved all the time and the rough boat ride. Now, number 5 is an oldie but goodie, and I mean a truly oldie. This one comes from Otto van Bismarck, and it shows that dad jokes have been around for a long time, apparently. So he once said, "3/4 of the Earth's surface is water, and 1/4 is land. It's quite clear that the good Lord intended for us to spend triple the amount of time fishing as the amount of time spent plowing." Bingo. Hey, fishing's super old as a sport, and guess what? Justifying going fishing, whether to catch something for food or just to sneak out of the house and get out of chores to do it, that's as old as time as well. Now at number 4, here's an old proverb that's great life advice as well as fishing advice. It reads, Even a fish wouldn't get into trouble if it kept its mouth shut. Great advice, enough said. At number 3, I was kind of split. My favorite fishing author of all time is John Garrick. His entire books are just, he's kind of the Mark Twain of fishing. I love what he writes, and I had trouble picking out. So let me share a couple of my very favorites from him. So the first one is, sure, it was your idea and your fly, but he caught the big fish. Remember, fairness is a human idea largely unknown in nature. As your mother always told you, life ain't fair. And guess what? You take your buddy who doesn't even fish, you set him up with your fishing pole, give him your lure, tell him to cast over there, and then he ends up catching the big fish of the day. That's just kind of how life works, how fishing works, and we've all been there. So a lot of Garrick's books are humor, but he also throws some deeper conversation in there as well. And here's a classic example. I used to like fishing because I thought it had some larger significance. Now I like fishing because it's the one thing I can think of that probably doesn't. You know, we really struggle to explain why we love fishing. There's entire books out there. People write blog posts and stuff about it all the time. We have trouble justifying to our friends and significant others why we spend all our time and money doing it. And actually, I think maybe the real reason is that, like John said so eloquently there, with all the news channels, all the stuff going on, all the drama, most of us love to get out fishing and just get out there and think about nothing other than trying to catch a fish. Now that brings us to my top 2, and these are a couple of heavyweights. This one comes from all places. It comes from Ann Landers, a famous advice columnist from back in the day in the newspapers. She once wrote, "Bragging may not bring happiness, but no man having caught a large fish goes home through an alley." Boom, mic drop. That is so classic. That explains social media in a nutshell right there. Half of my posts, if you scroll them, half of our entire social media feed, what do we do when we catch a big fish? The first thing you do now, at least me, I'm going to post that sucker. I'm going to put it everywhere. I'm going to text it to all my buddies, post it in all places. I don't know. That's kind of why I fish, is just to brag to my buddies about it and show off my big fish. I think that's why we all do it. Ann Landers, yeah, you pretty much nailed it right there, and you nailed social media before it was even out. And that brings us to number 1, and to me, this is far and away my favorite quote. No humor in this one, but it comes from one of my favorite all-time books and movies, A River Runs Through It. And if you've ever lost a fishing buddy, a loved one, you can definitely relate to this one. Now, at the end of the movie, Robert Redford read this quote, and he does it way more justice than me. I'll try to plow through it, but if you haven't seen the movie, you need to watch the end of it. I could watch it over and over. Like many fly fishermen, I often don't start fishing until the cool of the evening. Then in the Arctic half-light of the canyon, all existence fades to a being with my soul, and memories and the sounds of the big Blackfoot River, and a 4-count rhythm and the hope that a fish will rise. Eventually, all things merge into one, and a river runs through it. The river was cut by the world's great flood and runs over rocks from the basement of time. On some of those rocks are timeless raindrops, and under the rocks are the words, and some of the words are theirs. I am haunted by waters. That's from the great Norman MacLean, and to me that's some of the greatest writing, fishing or otherwise, that I've ever come across. So the place where I learned to fish was on my family's farm. Growing up, there was a river bend there that was the best spot, my favorite spot, and it was at the base of a big bluff there, a big turn, a deep hole. And now when I go back to visit, it's still one of my favorite spots to fish of all time. And it has special significance. I think of this writing when I fished there. My grandparents, my grandfather who taught me the love of the outdoors and respect for it, my late mother, they're all buried on the top of the hill there. And you hear the rushing water, the stream there bubbling, you can still hear their voices. So it's, to me, that's a haunting bit of prose. You know, there's no more soothing sound, the bubbling brook, the rapids, gentle rapids, hearing the stream there. And the way he put that into words, that's your forefathers and long lost friends speaking to you. I like it. Pretty cool. So that's my top 12 list. If I missed any, whatever your favorites are, let me know. I'd love to hear about them. Hope you enjoyed that, guys. See you next time.